Business ownership has never been hotter, but how do you do it? That's where I come in. Allow me to guide you on your journey. Welcome to Ion Franchising. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another fabulous episode of Ion Franchising. I'm your host, Lance Graulich. So fitness is one of my favorite things to talk about because I've been a fitness junkie my entire life. And this is a hot gym concept that has been around, gosh, next year is celebrating 25 years in business. So I have here the two founders, John and Steve. John, I'm going to see if I can do the name right. How about Quattrocchi? Quattrocchi.
It's exactly. It means four eyes in Italian. So give you your Italian lesson for the day.
I love it.
John, but known as John Q for the obvious reason.
John Q and Steve Strickland. So John and Steve are co-founders of Workout Anytime. And John, you're technically the president, and Steve is the CEO, but you're co-founders. So welcome to the show, guys.
Well, thanks for having us.
It is my pleasure. So why don't you give us really the synopsis? What is, for those that have never been to a Workout Anytime, almost 25 years in business, what states are you operating, and describe the business? How big is this building? You know, what is the business?
Steve, I'll let you go with the size and the states.
Yeah, we're in 23 states now.
Jeez.
We have 23 states. We have 3 clubs in Central America, 2 in Honduras, 1 in Costa Rica. We are projecting another 30 to 40 club openings in 2024. That's sort of the pipeline that we have projected at this point. So, you know, we're organically grown company. We started the business, as you said earlier, 25 years ago, 1999, with one club, 3,100 square foot club in Douglasville, Georgia. That club was a great success story. It exceeded our expectations, and our expectations have always been high. We set the bar high for ourselves, and we work every day to try to reach that. But 3,100 square foot club at the end of 8 months had a monthly $80,000 draft, which is really unheard of. And we realized at the time, okay, this is maybe we might be on to something. The landlord liked us. He built a couple more shopping centers and brought us in, and that one club turned into 3. And as John said earlier, and within the 4th year, we had 9 of these.
I'll take $80,000 a month.
Yeah, and they were all successful. We thought, they're all built the same way. We were, I was running the equipment consulting company. John was running the day-to-day operations of the 9 clubs. The club served as showrooms for our fitness equipment company. But I thought we need to take a look at doing something more with this. And I like to tell the story. I bought the book called Franchising for Dummies. It's a really good read for people that are interested in franchising.
I love that.
And the first chapter, really the first few pages, it talked about the 3 requisites for starting a franchise system. Number 1, you needed something that was unique in nature. Second, something that was duplicatable. And 3, a proven track record. And we checked all 3 of those boxes big time.
Yep.
Teamed up with an attorney. We drafted our documents, which was no small feat. I mean, you had to put together federal disclosure documents, franchise agreements, get registered in certain states. And, we really didn't know what we were doing in the franchise space back then. We were health club operators.
And what year was this?
This was 2005.
Got it.
When we started the company with the first club in Douglasville in 1999, and we progressed at that point. And in 2005, that's when I thought, let's look into franchising or licensing or something of that nature and try to expand what we had created. And we got that off the ground. The attorney was a big part of our beginning. He's a friend of mine. And we sold a franchise. And then one led to two, three, four. And before long, we had what I call a revenue generating organization.
I love it.
And we just started growing organically. And we hope to open our 200th club sometime by the end of February.
And are they all still, or let me rephrase that. What is the square footage of the prototype or the typical?
Well, the average square footage now is somewhere between 8 and 10,000. We were able to add to that first club another 900 feet. And by the way, I like to proudly tell anybody who's listening, that club is still open. That first club in Douglasville is still open 25 years later.
It's fantastic. Let me bring John into this. So John, by the way, Air Force veteran, thank you for your service, John. I want to hear a little bit about your history in the Air Force and how that has helped you in the world of franchising and systems and procedures, because you probably know this, 14% of franchise owners are veterans. So thank you for your service, by the way.
That's interesting.
Thanks for thanking us. It didn't happen back in '68, to be honest with you. But I think franchising sort of fits, because if you're in the military, first of all, they tell you right off the bat that you're going to do what you're told. So before you can be a good leader, you have to be a good follower. So I think I was a pretty good follower, and franchising is very similar, except we don't get to tell them what to do. I wish I did, because as Steve said, the first 9 clubs we had, it was a bit of a dictatorship because all the employees work for you, so you can do that. With franchising, what a person buys is a system. That's actually what a franchise is anybody can build a health club, okay? But you have to have a system to take care of the customer and to generate revenue. So I wanted to go back even before but the military gives you a couple of things. It teaches you can do things that you didn't think you could because you have to. Yeah. And being an entrepreneur, I always say with Steve, I said, being a franchisee or an entrepreneur, there's always the curveball that comes out of left field that you just didn't anticipate. So unless you can hit the curveball and be able to adapt to the changing environment, we had to hit the curveball with COVID, okay, all of those type things. So I think, especially if you happen to serve in a war zone, yeah, you find that right off the bat that you got to make every day count, Yeah. So, but I want to go back to the origination workout at the time, because both Steve and I were in the health club business with different organizations. And before we did the blueprint for Workout Anytime, I had, and Steve had too, I had a goal. I had another company called Workout America, and there were 30,000 square foot clubs. And I set a goal to have 10 of those. And I forgot to set the goal that I want 10 profitable clubs. So I had 5 profitable and 5 not. So I was really juggling the overhead, as you can imagine. Yeah. The electric bills there were about $6,000 a month with what we built. In our first club, the electric bill was $400. So what it really was is we took all of the old racquetball, aerobics floors, and all the other wasted space that didn't generate revenue. And what we tried to be is just the best workout per square foot in America. So I think we've tried to maintain that. We've added services since then, which had to expand the blueprint because now there's a lot of wellness components to fitness. So that's the adaptation. But, the thing about the military that I think that probably your listeners are saying, if you were a veteran, is that, I think doesn't matter what the franchise is, but you have to have a passion for it. I had 2 passions. I actually came to Atlanta. I worked in missile guidance systems and bombing computers. I came to Atlanta. I wanted to get on with Delta Airlines because I could use that background. But I had a phys ed background from Penn State. I got drafted right out of Penn State, so that interrupted that. Yeah. But I wanted to be a phys ed teacher. And that was a passion of mine. And I think we have physically educated more people than I ever would have been being a teacher. We've sold, hundreds of thousands of memberships and educated people that wanted to be educated.
Love it.
It's been a lot of fun. But the other part is, it takes discipline. There's no doubt about it. I think that Steve knows that we tell the story of our ownership. I drove 1 hour in the morning to be at this club in Douglasville, to be there at 6 o'clock, and then I was there until 9 o'clock at night and had to do that 7 days a week when you started out. But we did that, and we built the first club in between 6 reputable health clubs. We were in between 2 Golds, a World's Gym, Ladies Workout Express, LA Fitness is there now. And I wouldn't recommend that to a franchisee, but I had 20 years experience. So what we did is not worry about what they did. We just said, advertised and lived up to it, that we're the best workout per square foot. And guess what? Here's your key. Whether the staff is here or not, you have the key to the club. So that was a pretty good new concept at the time.
So, John, I have to ask that point of you and Steve, what is that sort of secret sauce? You just said that when you built, you're between all these other clubs. So what's the difference between Workout Anytime today and some competitors? Is it price? Is it the overall value? What is it?
Well, I'm going to tell you, because it's in our manual, and both Steve and I wrote the manual, is that what we try to do is be Cheers, where everybody knows your name.
Love it.
I think that's our secret sauce, because if you look at the clubs, and there's a rather big box club that lost a lot of members during COVID. Our attrition rate was no different than any other year. That's enormous. You know why that was? Because if you come into a club and somebody knows your name and you're always trying to help them get in shape and all of that, I don't care if they build a bigger club across the street or whatever it might be, you're not going anywhere, because everybody likes recognition and they want to feel comfortable when they come in. So it sort of gets lost in the shuffle sometimes with the big box, to be honest with you. And we're trying to live up to that.
No, that's fantastic. Tell me, investment wise, what is an average typical club? I know construction costs can vary, but what is an average club? What is that investment these days?
I'm going to yield to Steve, because he's the genius that reads our FD. What is it?
FDD.
Our FDD. See, I can't even read FDD.
Mr. Genius, Steve.
Yeah, that's we won't go there, but no, there's a lot of variables that lead to that number, but mainly on our FTD, it's low side 750, 1.2 million, depending on the size of the club. We do have some clubs now that are up to 14,000 square feet, which that adds to the cost.
Yeah,
but you can build a club in a competitive market for $700,000 or $800,000, and that's assuming that you get some help from the landlord with tenant improvement.
Yeah, tenant improvements are always a good thing. I would imagine most franchisees are doing some financing on this.
They are. Most all of them are. I guess one thing that we really make sure from the beginning, we don't let our franchisees sign a bad lease. In other words, a bad spot, a rent amount that doesn't work with the model. I mean, we could probably have another 100 clubs open by now if we did that, but we'd have a bunch of clubs struggling. Yeah. So that's the key, and we require free rent from the landlord. We get an average 6 to 9 months free, and a competitive rate. Because the hardest check for the club owner to write every month is on the first, the rent check, and we're not in business to pay the landlord, as John likes to say from time to time. But
you're also a big anchor, I would imagine, for some of these centers. You're big enough to really attract a lot of great people. One of the best things that I heard about Workout Anytime, and one of my favorite statistics, so I always look at brands that have a lot of multi-unit operators. So the majority of your franchise owners do not only own one, they own multiple units. That's fantastic.
That's correct.
75%.
And I would imagine with this growth spurt of another 30 locations coming on in the next year, you're going to have more of that, more and more people signing up for 2 or 3 at a time, right?
Well, we have one guy that we're supposed to meet with this week that is wants to negotiate 5 to 10 deals. So yes,
Yeah, that's
so we have momentum.
that's Monday. We have a franchise partner, a very successful franchise partner that wants to sign a new development deal for an additional 5, maybe 10 more clubs.
Fantastic. Love it.
Yeah,
So Steve and John, let me ask you this. If you were going to line up or think about your top 5 franchisees in your entire system that are the best, they have the highest sales, they're making the most money, what do they all have in common?
They were totally. What's interesting is we saw one of the sharks speak. Was the guy with a long last name? I should say something with a long last name. Robert. What's his name?
Herjavec, yeah.
Yeah, and he was interesting because he was talking about the franchisees because he had a health club, and his wife did, and it sort of failed. And he said, "Well, what would you recommend to franchisees?" And he said, "You have to know your numbers," and that really stood out there. And I'd have to say, other than the fact that they're number one, they're really good guys. They have tremendous discipline, which the military gives you, as you said. But they're on top of it. They're engaged. They're in the club physically. And a lot of people sometimes, and some of our competitors say, you build 2 clubs and you go to the beach and everything, you live happily ever after. Well, that never happens in the healthcare business. Yeah. So no, unless you're involved and you like people. And I say, and they teach the same thing that we try to teach them when they came in as a franchisee. The more people you help, it's not about sales. The more people you help, the more money you make. Just that simple. It's their attitude, and that's the key.
Love it. Steve, anything else to add on that?
Well, yeah, I think added to that, these the most successful operators in our system are the ones who, one, like John said, they pay attention to their business. They market effectively. They spend the necessary money to advertise their club and get the word out to their community. They're usually the face of their club in the community. They use social media very successfully. We just had a club in Lanham, Maryland, grand open with 2,500 members the first month, which is unheard of. But this owner, who happened to be a female minority owner, she embraced that, put it out to the public, and she's done fantastic numbers. And you can build a competitive club in the parking lot of her club, and our members wouldn't leave. I mean, it goes back to what you said, our secret sauce. It's all about the experience.
See, those members love the club, but they love her.
Yeah.
Because she's involved, and her passion just spreads all over social media.
That's
correct. But I'm sensing a theme: passion, people, dedication. I love member
experience. As all of these clubs have treadmills and bikes and weight machines and dumbbells, you can work out and get in shape in any of the clubs. It's about the experience.
Yeah.
When the person comes into your club, do they want to come back? Were they treated right? Was the facility they visited, was it clean? Was it in disrepair? Just the little things like that. You'd be surprised. You walk into some of these clubs, lights are out, water fountain's dirty, upholstery is cracked.
Smells. I know a lot of clubs that smell out there. Ugh.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Well, we've got lessons on cleaning the club during COVID, that's for sure.
Yeah.
But,
well, let's transition. Let's talk about training. Once you select and approve a franchisee, what is that training process like? Because I got to imagine with you two, there's a process here.
Well, he just mentioned cleaning. That comes right from the Air Force. I got news for you. I clean toilets with toothbrushes. So right off the bat, that is part of the training. But we have right here in our home office, we have an all-star team. And it's very immersive would be the word. We have an expert in there's many parts to running a health club. Could be the cleanliness, part of its sales, part of its education. But the biggest thing is that, yes, you have to teach a system. And when they come in here for a discovery day, they see that not only do Steve and I have 100 years experience, or some 52 of that. And we sort of know what we're doing, and we do have a playbook. And if you follow that, so yeah, I think that's key. There's two keys to that, and I'll relate that back to the military. Is that I spent 1 year, well, a year and a half in electronics school and then systems school. Well, the first time I walked out and got on top of an F4 Phantom to jump in the cockpit, I learned more the first day than I learned in a year and a half. That on-the-job training was more important. So we take it even that step further. Of course, we give you a lot of classroom, but then we have people to go in to help the franchisee, because you don't sell 2,500 memberships before you open without knowing what you're doing. So
Absolutely.
there's a lot of teaching to it. So that
Love
fit.
it. Steve?
Well, we do have a formal education process. We have an expert that's our VP of education. A new franchisee goes through a bridge course, an online bridge course, which is sort of orientation to the classroom, and they come here for a week of in-classroom training. And then we do on-site support. When the club opens, we're there to help them through the pre-sale process. We believe, and I believe accurately, that a good franchise system is a marketing and education company. We teach people, how to market, and we educate people on the business and how to be successful. We're very confident, Lance, if a franchisee follows our systems and our processes and they pay attention to the business, they market effectively. And I think it's really important that they attract good people. They recruit, they hire, and they develop high performers. That's the key to being successful. And we really, I believe, a business owner needs to be able to attract good team members. Those team members need to believe that entrepreneur will help them reach their dreams and their goals. Yeah. Or they won't come to work for you. If they do come to work for you, it's just for a paycheck.
I love, Steve, that you use the word attract, because that is a fantastic word. You're not fishing on Indeed or Monster, or you might put ads out, but at the end of the day, you're attracting the appropriate people that you want to work for you. And speaking of that, what are those employee counts? So like the location that just opened with 2,500 members, how much staff are you hiring? And, I would imagine front desk, personal trainers, people to clean. What does that break down to roughly?
It depends on the owner. Those clubs that are top performers, they have, at least 3 good salespeople, including club manager. They have a fitness director that runs the personal training side of the business. And a good club has 6 to 10 good, solid team members that have their specific roles. Then one thing that we do teach as a franchisor, you're in the business for you're in a business to sell memberships. You're not in business for your health. We sell health. We're in business to make a profit, and get a nice return on your investment, and that requires having the sales acumen and selling memberships and personal training on a daily basis at a high level. And if you understand that and you can execute that effectively, you're going to be successful. It's not Field of Dreams. It's not like if you build it, they will come.
Right.
It doesn't work that way. But
what's interesting when you say attract is that Steve knows, and both of us, I followed Chick-fil-A because I signed up Truett Cathy, who started Chick-fil-A at European Health Spa in 1972. But we've admired his company ever since. And believe me, they attract the best people. But in interviewing people that eventually go to work, why did they go to work for Chick-fil-A? Is Chick-fil-A, and I hope we do too, we show them a future in the health business. So where you can start out, I started out as a $2 an hour instructor, and now I make $3. No, I make a little bit more than that. But it can be a great future, but I keep coming back to the past because I've told both of my sons that did not follow me into this business, but they're pretty successful on their own, is do what you love to do. Okay. Yeah. Money will follow. And in this case here, it fulfills both things because, yes, as Steve said, we're not a nonprofit organization.
Yeah.
So when it comes to marketing, what is that sort of liftoff or initial campaign that you guys do to launch one of the new locations? Because marketing, people join franchises because they don't want to deal with the marketing. They don't know about it. They figure you guys have an on and off switch. How much do I pay for marketing? Let's make this happen. Fill me up.
I don't think what you just said is totally accurate. They have to understand how to market. And we do our best to teach them, and they have to embrace the necessity to market, because if you don't, your chances of being successful are very, very slim.
Yes.
We start out the old-fashioned way in pre-sales. When the location is decided upon, a lease assigned, we start getting names and numbers. Scanning the community and getting a list of people that are interested in the day that we open for pre-sales while the club is under construction. I think it's really important that a club opens with somewhere between 700 and 1,000 members before the club opens for workouts. And you got to let the community know you're there. You got to put yourself out on social media, maybe do a mail drop. A lot of the marketing today is all digital. I mean, it's something that we didn't grow up with. Right. We've got the younger people on the staff that are experts with it. But it's a necessity from day one. And then you open the club, you have a grand opening. You work around that. You attract the local community leaders, the fire department, the police department. They come in. They have a ribbon cutting with a Chamber of Commerce. We help organize all of that, and it's just essential that the club gets off to a good start. Yeah. And it doesn't. You just can't open one of these clubs with 200 or 300 members and expect to sustain success early on.
Yeah,
so
totally.
We set the goal at 1,000. And the club in Lanham is an extreme success story. When they opened their doors for workouts, they had almost 1,900. And after the first month of opening, they were just over 2,500, and they're still cooking. But the strong pre-sale really set the bar and primed the pump, so to speak, for the success of that club. So we put a lot of emphasis on that.
I love it.
And then, Steve, we require our franchisees to spend a minimum of $2,000 a month in marketing, which is not enough, to be honest with you.
So the good news is, I think we do agree. I think I was just pointing out the fact that there are franchisees.
Yeah,
there are franchisees that don't know anything about marketing, and they're scared.
That's true. That's true.
They all need to embrace it.
Yeah, that's why they buy a franchise.
Well, what's interesting is the first line of advertising, the first line of offense really is your staff, because long before we had social media, we didn't have that when we started out. Trust me, as I say, we tackled them in the parking lot.
Yeah.
But you have to, it's kind of like the circus is coming to town. You have to send people out there that tell them that you're coming to town, take those names and numbers, and then when that first day that you're allowed to sell, it's first come, first serve. So you build a lot of excitement and you try to have fun. The fun part is, and I try to teach it in a training class, is the more fun you have, the more money you make. So you have to create that atmosphere. Because like you said, you come into a club and nobody recognizes your name, nobody says anything, whatever. So that's not what we are. We're there to inspire and help our members get in shape.
I love it. And we used to tackle them in the parking lot. That's probably the best quote I ever heard on my podcast. So thank you for that.
Well, let me assure you that's what we did in the first club.
I love it. So let's talk about your corporate staff and all of the support you provide franchisees. So they get open. I mean, you have a big staff at the corporate office. Where is the corporate office exactly? It's in Georgia.
Yes, Alpharetta, Georgia.
Alpharetta, beautiful, the great area.
Mhm.
So
just
how
north-
many
just
how
north
many
of
on staff?
26.
And you have a VP of education you mentioned. Talk a little bit about the support and once the location opens, what happens?
Well, like I said, we have on-site training with the staff that we have here, as much as they need. You know, some franchisees need more than others. It's, you know, we do whatever is necessary. Like I said, we have the vice president of education, we have a marketing director, we have two senior VPs that's been with the company for many years. They have their teams that they head up. And it's really, Lance, it's a team effort. It starts, we have a construction coordinator that helps franchisee, you know, navigate their way through the building of the club. People, they don't understand that. We help them get their contractor bid. We vet their contractors. We do a lot of stuff that helps them through the process so they can do what I mentioned before, focus on selling memberships, you know, marketing their club effectively and selling effectively.
Yeah. Our business.
I was going to say, John, you guys have given a tremendous amount of information. I'm going to give you the final word. John, why don't you go first on the final word here? You go, and then Steve. You've dropped a lot of knowledge here. You're getting people like me excited about opening a fitness concept, specifically work out anytime, joining the family. So, John, you go first. Final thoughts, final words of wisdom.
Well, I steal most of mine from Napoleon Hill, from Einstein, and I'm pretty well read.
Love it.
I said that, you know, passion, I'll lead with that. Discipline, I'll lead with that. But I think Einstein did say the world belongs to the people that can adapt. And we've had to adapt many times from 1999 to now. I'm not sure I would make a good franchisee right now. It's pretty technical. And you talk about the training. Yeah, we used to be able to sign somebody up on a piece of paper. Okay, here's your agreement. On down. No, it's much more than that right now. It's easier, it's simple, but you know, it's technical. And main thing is that I would say that in any franchise, you pick out a franchise that you really believe in their product or service. We're a product and a service. I know Steve and I believe in it, and we hope that filters down through the whole company.
Love it. Steve, final thoughts, words of wisdom, tips?
Yeah, franchising is not for everybody. Okay, we like to tell people, you buy a franchise, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. And the reason why you buy a franchise is you buy our expertise and our support to help you be successful. We stand by our statement. If you follow our systems, meet our brand standards, you market effectively, you hire and train personnel effectively, you're going to be successful. And I can tell you from my position, we take the success of our franchisees very seriously. We understand that as a franchise system, if you do good, we do good. And not, to me, that's the ultimate win-win. And that's the beauty of franchising.
Love it. John and Steve, Workout Anytime founders, thank you guys for being here. You guys are awesome. Continued success.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Appreciate your time.
My pleasure. If you're ready to talk about franchise opportunities, hit the link below to schedule a call. My services are free. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thanks for listening.